the meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the July 27th meeting? Additions or corrections, if not, is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Justin, second by Randy, all in favor? Consent agenda, we need permission for clerk to pay utilities at ongoing, permission for clerk to pay utility incentives before the 25th of the month, permission for clerk to pay theater bills when due, permission for clerk to pay payment service network bills when due, and permission for clerk to pay attorney bills when due.
I'm going to approve the consent agenda.
Moved by Larry,
Second.
second by Justin, all in favor? Okay. Sheriff report. Just in the nick of time, new business, Derek. Don't get too comfortable.
I'm talking first?
You're talking first, yeah.
How y'all doing?
You're the first one to call.
Okay, so I pretty much talked to each and every one of you about everything. I got a phone call, I believe, from her the other day. Last meeting, somebody called me from the city office. Yes. Said that as of right now, everything stands. So as soon as she told me that, I got a hold of a agricultural lawyer. I don't want to go that way. I want to resolve this peacefully right here, right now. De-annex, rezone, whatever, I'll pay for it. The money that you guys make off me isn't very much tax-wise. It's a few $100s a year. My land is already, all my land down there, she has marked as urban agricultural anyways. So my definition that I got for urban agricultural, it's often coded as AU on Kansas tax cards. It simply means your property sits inside a designated city or urban boundary, but the county appraiser recognizes it that the land is actively being used for farming, ranching, or livestock. Okay, so she herself understands that it has livestock down there, but yet city ordinance says that I have to remove my cows. So I'm asking to be de-annexed. I'll pay for everything. I'll have the lawyer do it all. You guys don't have to do anything but sign off. That's the easiest, most peaceful way. Otherwise, I got 2 different lawyers in line and we can go at it. I don't care if I dump $500,000. I like my cows. I've bought every piece of land and every piece of equipment down there to go with my cows. There's always been livestock down there. I talked to John Keller. Who? Tom Keller. Tom Keller said there's always been livestock down there. Okay, now all of a sudden it's a problem. So it's up to, can we take a vote?
So,
Yes.
hold on. Randy and I discussed just a little bit
Okay.
after we met with you.
Yes.
So you guys know, he took us down and showed us his lovely fence down there.
Yes.
We were wondering if there's a way that we could possibly do a special use permit to where we would grant you special use and have it specific where you have 30 acres within the city limits to where it would be specific to you, a large parcel on the edge of town that would give you the ag use within the city. That would be kind of an exception than to,
Be kind of like the chickens, except for larger animals.
but it would be very specific that I couldn't put a cow in my backyard or a pig in my backyard. It would be a special use, so it's special use for that property only.
Yes.
And then we'd have our reasoning because you've got over 30 acres.
Yeah, so there's
suited for-
there's about 88 acres down there. I think pretty close to
30,
37 to 40 of them have been annexed in. I think.
I think there's about 3 in that little piece, and then there's 30.
Yes, so that corner is 3.14. I know
and then
that.
30 point something.
Okay.
So, anyways, we were wondering, Randy and I talked just briefly, if that's something that we could come up with, get drafted up, that it would be a special use permit, maybe just get it annually like we do the chicken permits. You get your special use permit for that property, that would allow you to
So
have livestock.
I pay $10 a year and I have livestock.
But it would be very,
If
Special
for that
use for-
property, we'd need basically the platform, or not the,
legal description
legal
may be
description for it maybe.
specific.
I mean, that's easy enough to get, I can pull, one of us can pull it from the register of deeds.
But that limits then, like, future-wise too, right?
Yeah, does that limit, so I'm ready to retire, okay? If I wanted to retire, tomorrow,
That limits people have to
and I
pay
sell
tax
out,
and ask.
what happens then to that land? That land had cattle on it, had horses on it, had pigs,
If you
chickens,
sold it,
goats,
then-
sheep.
Then that would be with those people that bought it from you, that would.
All they have
come
to
get
do
a
is come in
special
and do the
permit.
exact same permit.
Mhm. And that would eliminate, that I think would be simplest, and that would eliminate from just anybody being able to have livestock. It
We
would have
looked
to be
it up.
specific
Yeah.
for-
The annexing.
Are they gonna go through as much trouble as we have to try and get that permit?
Or to protect themselves.
I mean,
So we looked it up in other communities, this is how they handle situations similar to this,
Mhm.
because we were trying to find like a better way. And many communities with large sections of property inside city limits handle it in this way. They grant a special use permit to the individual, and then if you were to sell it, that next individual would just come in and get a special use permit, because
It would be, you have a daycare in your house, you get a variance.
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody buys that, they want that, then they have to get a variance, so it would,
I get that.
each individual person would have to.
So does that mean we're gonna get sewer and water and all the things that go with, because we don't have good water, we have to buy our water, we have to do all the stuff that the city gives to everybody else who's there, we don't get that. So is
Well, I mean,
that
let's be honest,
something-
I have a sewer system in city limits. Mhm. Septic tanks and all.
Yeah,
but-
that we had to put in because,
The septic system is outside of city limits. The leach field comes in by about 3 feet. That's exactly how it is, but that's how the EPA had me do it. So,
but we don't get that benefits from the city, so
is
I
your,
don't
is
know.
your, I'm sorry, is your house
it's
physically?
at the line,
it's
Is-
right on the line.
It
the
sits,
pole, the
it
utility
sits
pole.
physically on the line.
The utility pole is there to it.
Yeah, so it's like 3 feet from the house. So I mean, we could have city sewer and water up to the house,
Yeah.
which that's how it goes. It goes up to the person's property and then they pay to hook into it.
But you're not gonna wanna go through the river, you're not gonna wanna go under the railroad tracks. It's not.
So I'm
The special
I
use
feel-
permit is just specifically dealing with cattle.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Nothing else.
So, I'm actually okay with that.
Right.
I'm gonna run it by the lawyer.
And we'll get something drafted.
I'll run it by the lawyer. If he says that's the easiest way to handle it, or if he says I got a better way, then I'll get back to you.
Okay.
So it needs to be recorded that as of September 1st, that's void and null. You know, cause she called and said that the paperwork that you guys sent remained. So now I would need an extension until I get back a hold of my lawyer to run this across there.
If the council's
Yeah,
okay
if the
with,
council,
if the
yes.
council's okay with offering a special use permit. I mean,
Yes.
I'm just,
We'll have
that
a
was-
vote.
I mean.
They can't vote on it until it's sitting in front of them, so you have to talk to your attorney, I have to draft it, or your attorney has to draft it, it has to come to them. They can't vote on an idea of something, they can give you an extension of time
So do you wanna draft it?
because of September 1st. I'm not going to do anything until your attorney says yes or no, because I'm not going to incur a fee on behalf of the council and on behalf of the taxpayers, because the council, the city pays my attorney fee. So if, I'm not gonna draft anything until you talk to your attorney and they say yes, go, or no go, because if we spend this time and we spend this money and the council goes through it, and then your attorney goes, no, I don't like this, I mean,
think it's something that if you're gonna draft it, they're gonna have to wanna look at it.
I mean.
Right, I agree with that.
Is the council in agreement to offer a
Yeah.
special use permit? I think we're all in agreement. Yes, so.
Yes, okay.
If you check with your attorney, and if he's okay with it, he or she,
Okay, so
then
September 1st is null and void.
correct,
I
yes.
have permission to, if it
Continue.
takes a
Mhm.
month and a half, lawyers
Yep.
stretch stuff,
Yep.
cause they wanna fill their pockets.
Yep.
Okay,
Good.
thank you,
You're welcome.
thank you. I'm a happy city man leaving. County man, whatever, thank you.
Thanks,
On the
Mayor.
line, guy.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for the tour also
Yeah.
earlier.
Yes, if you wanna go faster, come on down.
Faster? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, try it out when it's in sport mode.
We'll call you.
I will have my seatbelt on though.
Yes, and we'll put the nets up. Okay, thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, see ya.
Yep, Bert, you're up.
Okay. My name is Robert Martinez, you don't know me, but Kelsey Dunn and I operate Caddyshack Bar and Grill off of River in Washington. We are in the process of inviting some food trucks out on Wednesday nights to utilize the patio, open up the bar. The food truck would come and park on our property, and like I said, we're doing that Wednesday nights right now. When we thought of this idea, I reached out to the city office. I was told there were two options. First option is for them to come in, get a permit, $35, and then each employee would have to also come in, show their IDs, get a background check of $10. The last food truck did do that, $35, and 3 employees, a total cost of $65. The other option I was told is to do a special event, which is something like a concert at the park or other events that we have in town where food trucks come in. That special event is given out to those people, and that serves an umbrella for the food trucks. So there is no permits, there is no background checks, they get to operate for free. I get the ordinances, public safety, so forth, but there's also a part of logistics that don't make the first option logical to me. If a food truck, say from a Cook or Ray, is gonna come on the weekend, they would then have to come in during the week while the city office is open, travel with all the employees that might be there that day to operate the food truck, spend that time, do that, and then come back, say, on a Saturday. So that's a lot of cost, and really just logistically would just kind of prohibit somebody from coming out on a weekend to have to travel here twice to operate for the one day. So I'm not sure what ideas you'll have going forward with it, but my opinion is if that ordinance is for city streets, city parks, that's fine. And if that food truck wants to come in and do that on city property, but on a private property, on our property there at Caddyshack, I don't think those costs should inhibit business coming in.
Be like an extension of your business.
Correct. And if not, then I'll just ask for a special event every Wednesday. And why would that not be granted? And then we just go through the loophole. I mean, it just seems a little redundant and silly.
So I am gonna say I'm the one that told him about the special event permit, but I wasn't understanding what you were doing. I thought maybe you were occasionally gonna do like a concert
Right.
or something and bring in a bunch of food trucks, so I'm gonna say, me saying that special event was under the impression that it was not gonna be an every Wednesday thing.
Right.
So I need to make that clear to the council that what I thought maybe they were doing when I offered that up is now I'm finding out you're wanting to do it every Wednesday.
Right.
And so I'm
Okay.
not sure that the special event thing,
Well, and that's clarification too. What are the parameters for a special
sure.
event?
I mean, and I will say your last food truck was parked on the city street. It wasn't up on your property.
Yeah, and we'll deal with that. But they got the permits and everything else, so there wasn't,
Yeah, and,
that's, I mean,
and the one thing that we always tell these food trucks when they come in to do this is, you know, I mean, it's beneficial for them because then if they do it, get it one time, and then they're super busy, if they take care of all this, then it's taken care of for a Saturday. Then if they pay for an annual permit and they drive down here on a Saturday, they can park wherever they want, sell food because they're permitted. That's part of the reason of the permit process. But I do have to apologize because what I thought you meant was like when you were doing concerts or when you bring people in, so I will say that I misspoke now that I understand what you're doing, so I'm not sure that a special event permit will cover how I explained it to him.
and I guess clarification on what are the parameters on a special event?
I believe it. I still think that a special event, I mean, as far as the requirements for it, I'm in the code right now, I'm trying to get there. But one of the things is that it requires a fair amount of insurance to be provided, and that the insurance I think it's something is it $1 million of insurance?
For what?
For special event.
And that makes sense if you're operating, if you're making an event in the park, yes, but when we have general insurance and liability insurance on our property itself,
Yeah.
then that should cover it anyways. We'd be liable
I
for
think
anything that would
just
happen.
having an annual, just like we did with him, an annual deal where you sign out on it, you go into it on Wednesdays.
Well, and it is, I mean, the permit for the food trucks,
Well, if it's on
Can
his
be
property, it's
annual.
like, it'd be like his employees, basically. He's doing it, they're bringing them in, and it's under his umbrella as a food business.
Be his responsibility.
His insurance,
but he's not paying them. The people that are coming in from outside that are selling things, and that's why I think we have that transient vendor thing, so we make sure you somewhat vet the people that are coming to make, that are
And
coming
that's-
into town to sell things. I mean, it's no
Right, and I
different
get that,
than,
but
you
then
know,
with the special events, though, they're not providing background checks. So when we
Because
do,
it's-
when we host like family events and kids, and these food trucks are coming in 4 or 5 at a time, there are no background checks. So the public safety part of it is gone
And
when the
they
city's
need
actually,
to-
or a nonprofit is actually hosting that event. So that, to me,
Well, I have a question,
Yes.
so say you did a year permit, and, the way we're doing it now, the background check has to be on every employee that's represented, correct?
right, they have to decide what employees are coming, and they have to physically come into the office.
So say he does a year permit and they do all that, and then 6 months down the road, there's 3 new employees, are they gonna have to come in and redo?
Correct.
According to the way the ordinance is now, yes, they would have to keep coming in.
And even if they say, I'm bringing these 2 people, they have
Right,
to come in on a
right,
Tuesday, those 2 people get sick.
I'm just trying to wrap
and
my
now
head
it's-
around that,
Now
yeah.
it's Brad and Tim instead of Sam
Yeah.
and Angela. So now they have to redo the process again because something
Right.
happened between those few days.
It's a,
I mean, I get your concerns, but I also, you know, a roofing crew comes into town, they've gotta get licensed, tree trimming, you know, I mean, we have permitting processes to kind of protect our citizens,
Right.
is why we have those. Maybe background checks on every single person is,
I was gonna say, I don't think we
Extensive.
background check all the roofers.
but I just wondered if maybe we lessened that to where we still have the permits for the food trucks, but maybe it's just the owner has to come in and, you
Or-
know, instead of every single employee.
Or can this be online and they pay online? I mean, the other problem too is, you know, sometimes it's gonna be dinner and they're traveling from somewhere, so what if they don't get here at 4:30?
I feel like we've been fairly accommodating. I mean, the
But if
gals
there's
in the
a-
office have came down on a Saturday to help a food truck get licensed for the farmer's market. I mean, we try to be accommodating because we know that they are traveling from
Right.
out of town to get here, that we've,
why can't the paperwork go to him and he just signs off on the paperwork?
well, because then if they wanna come and they wanna set up in the park, then
That's a whole separate issue. Right.
not if it's the food truck getting the license.
But if they wanna come down on their own, that's one thing, and then they have to go appeal. But if it's on his property, under his umbrella, I think it ought to be, it's him.
Robert, just so another point of clarification, you're not talking like 17 different food truck vendors, you're talking what, 2, 3, 4?
We're gonna probably do it for a couple months on Wednesdays, really just to kind of highlight the patio once.
You're talking
as
about
we-
2 or 3 different kind of food truck vendors you're gonna be using?
Well, right now we
Once
have 5 lined up for the next 5
5, okay.
weeks, but we'll continue to look for more, and some will be returning.
Okay.
We do have the application online. They're not able to submit it online yet, but we do have it, so if they wanted to get it, just FYI.
Could they not email it in?
Yeah, they
Because
could.
none of our applications are.
Yeah, I think we did do that with somebody recently, let them email their application back to us.
Yes, because they were able to get notaries, they were able to get the signatures.
Yeah, so, I mean, that is kind of an
So
option.
if they print it, then they go and get it notarized.
Yeah.
and
Now, the background check situation would be a little bit difficult because they'd still have to come in for that,
I look at
right?
this as a business deal. If he's bringing somebody in, he could, whether you take your own stuff and go out there and set up, or you bring somebody in, it's still on your property. There's gonna be
And it's,
back
and
and
it's,
forth between the two.
and to me, it's zoned for commercial. I mean, if somebody brought somebody in front of their house,
If it's not on city property,
We don't do background checks on every roofing company that comes in and all that.
But they also have to be licensed with the state, so they're also
They are
vetted at the
licensed.
state and then,
But, you know, the state isn't doing background checks on
No.
the employees either.
And I've talked to our health inspector in the state of Kansas, as long as a food truck from out of the state does not operate for 6 consecutive days, they can come in and go as they please.
It's been no different if I want to make something, I can do that up to almost 6 times and not have a food truck, really, I can go out the corner and sell by the state.
I will say one little thing, and I don't know if it makes a difference. The background checks that we're doing are through Kansas. They're only checking Kansas. So if we've got people coming in from Colorado, if they haven't committed a felony in Kansas or aren't wanted in Kansas, we're not getting that information. So just as an FYI, we're doing this and it's useful, but if they haven't done something in Kansas, we aren't getting that detail.
And I think every employer in town has, the ability to do background checks or not. I mean, if we're looking at it that way too, there's business in town that don't, obviously don't do background checks.
As long as he's on his own property and they're licensed legally for the state of Kansas, I think it's his responsibility to take care of it.
but our code says differently, but
On his property,
Mm-hmm. So we've had them set up before in other locations on private property.
On private property?
Mm-hmm.
Does your insurance, do they charge you extra to have those food trucks come in?
Not that we've been told, no.
Okay.
We made sure everything was covered as far as the patio and the outside area, right there on the north side of it, and everyone said it was fine.
I say just make it a special event.
I don't know that it really falls under the special event,
Yeah, I
it
don't-
doesn't fit that. And I don't know if, I mean, I feel like we still need some sort of permitting process, just that way they can come and set up. If they wanna come to the farmer's market, they wanna come to your place, they wanna come to concert, you know,
But if he's using 4 or 5 throughout the year, if they're all different or something, the liability would fall back on you.
that's some kind of permit he needs, and that's
Right.
it, not in saying that he can have that.
so you're just gonna let any ice cream truck come to town and run up and down the streets and sell
No.
ice cream?
That wouldn't be on private property,
That's a whole separate issue.
that's not on private property.
If it's
This
on
is
private
his
property and he's
property.
making the decision on who's coming in, it takes responsibility off of us and puts it on him.
Yeah,
That's not how the code reads.
What's that, Lauren?
That's not how the code reads. Transient merchant, or itinerant vendor are defined as a person, whether as owner, agent, consignee, or employee, whether a resident of the city or not, who engages in a temporary business of selling and delivering goods, wares, and merchandise within such city, who, in furtherance of such purpose, hires, leases, uses, or occupies any building, structure, motor vehicle, tent, railroad, boxcar, or boat, public room and hotels, lodging houses, apartments, shops, or any street, alley, or other place within the city for the exhibition and sale of such goods, wares, and merchandise, either privately or at public auction. Such definition shall not be construed to include any person who, while occupying such temporary location, does not sell from stock but exhibits samples only for the purpose of securing orders for future delivery only. The person so engaged shall not be relieved from complying with the provisions of this article merely by reason of associating temporarily with any local dealer, trader, merchant, or auctioneer, or by conducting such transient business in connection with, as a part of, or in the name of any local dealer, trader, merchant, or auctioneer. So it does not matter whether they're on private property or not, that is the definition of a transient merchant, itinerant merchant, or itinerant vendor. It doesn't matter whether they're on private property, whether they're in a hotel, whether they're on the street.
He doesn't fall under the special event. I'm just wondering if we maybe revamp our permitting and to make that a little bit,
So we have 5 permits on an annual basis.
where we're not doing background
I
checks
mean,
on every
do
single
the
employee.
owner's background check
Yeah.
before
Correct.
we doing the employees, because that changes.
Yeah,
Employees are never perfect.
yeah.
And if it needs to be updated next year, then we can update it the following year. But that gives it a whole year and a half to, it's got the 5 for that, both owners of those food trucks that we have the 5 for each.
I mean, like I said, we have 5 now, but if it goes over, so we'd like to continue, you know, I don't wanna put a number on it.
We're 90 degrees in February like this year, you might be having food trucks all year round, you never know.
I think we should just make an exception, change the ordinance and allow, what we're doing is a disservice to our city, not bringing these people in, and then making it.
But are we not doing a
rotate.
disservice to the city to make sure that people are vetted and on the up and up?
The people
If they're in
on the
business,
trucks, I can see,
They already have it.
yeah,
The trucks I get, but every single employee, I think it falls back on that food truck.
they should be doing their own
Correct,
background checks.
but I feel like we still have to uphold the code with the permitting for the food
But
trucks.
as you walk into a food truck or go into any business, there's a certification that says, I am legal to serve, so.
But if you change the ordinance and take that out, then anybody that doesn't have one of those. If you change the ordinance, then you have to allow everybody.
Then allow everybody, I guess, I would say.
I feel like if we change the permitting to make it maybe easier, where food trucks are a thing, you know, they
Yeah,
work.
the city wants the $35, then yes, that's fine, it's just, it's cumbersome for the background checks, when special events, they're not getting background check, or some other, like you said, roofers aren't, so we're getting really particular in this,
If they wanna
on
come in.
this industry, it's just cost. $65 for that, food truck should come in, that's 7 meals that that person sold just to break even from that, let alone the travel, supplies, so.
I feel like could we reach
If
out
they wanna
to
do
see-
that outside of his business, then.
Then you need to
Right.
get the permits and all that.
Personally, I think we just need to get rid of that. Background checks on employees.
Yeah,
Do away with that out of the ordinance, but we've gone through this re-ordinancing already.
I say do away with $35 every time it goes over there. It's one thing if they're coming over here,
it's
three, four times
$35 for a year though, right?
Isn't it
I think I thought it's $25. Is it $25
for
for
a
a year?
resident, maybe $50?
For the
They-
background check fee?
No, no, okay, so I missed part of the conversation, obviously, so is the issue the background checks being cumbersome, or is it the whole permitting process? I
Well, the
missed
I think
part
part
of
of
it.
it's the background.
The background checks are very cumbersome, just because of the time it takes, and if you have 2 employees that are to come on a Tuesday to the city office, they get sick and they bring 2 different ones on Saturday.
And I feel like if we just did the permitting with the owner and not, cause we've been pretty, like I said, we've come down on a Saturday to help them, and we've kind of waived the background, went ahead and approved it, and, the background checks are pending, So, I think the city has been very accommodating for food trucks in the past and have went out of our way to help them get the steps taken care of, but maybe the background checks of everybody seems a little excessive.
And the one thing that I would probably, my opinion is, even if they're up on private property, it's really in the food trucks or any type of vendor, drink trucks, it's in their best interest to come in, and at least get that license. Because one, I do worry about if they come up onto your property and then they have such huge success, and on a Saturday they're like, man, let's go back to St. Francis, we had such huge success, then they're not, then they might wanna park on the city street, and then that's where they're gonna have problems. So even though they're up on your property, I would say it would still be in the best interest to get licensed, because if they do it for one day, it's just gonna be at your place, but some of them have opted to do it for the whole year, because then they can come back, on a Saturday on a whim, park and sell, and I'm afraid if we don't make them get the food truck permitted, even if they're gonna go up on anybody's private property, then they're gonna think, oh, well, I had such good success, and then they,
I didn't have to do it, now I have to, and I think to
What would be
keep
the difference in
consistent.
special event then?
Special events,
Well, they do the same thing, they're not coming in to get it and then.
Do we have that?
and I
We
feel
have
like
that
maybe
going
we
on.
need to,
Oh,
And insurance coverage, insurance of not less than 500,000 and up to $1 million may be required. I mean, it's a specific date, a specific time, total anticipated attendance. It's
Right.
not particularly a special event, because if they are truly on your property, it wouldn't fall under a special event. I mean, I think one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the main issues is that the one that came in was not on your property. And
Right, but,
and I understand that I understand that you've
permit,
addressed
the
that, but
background check,
that's,
We did the whole thing, so
right.
Yeah.
that's not an issue.
Didn't they say it was, did they pay you $65 or $75?
$65.
65?
$10 for the 3 background checks and $35 for the permit.
It's $25 per background check, and then they pay the $10.
Yeah.
They pay for 1 day. And I don't have the license thing in front of me, but,
So they didn't buy an annual?
Mm-mm.
no, but they, no, they did not.
I don't know if they
And
misunderstood.
remind me, how much is the annual?
the annual is $50 per calendar year for residents of Cheyenne County, or $75 per calendar year for non-residents of Cheyenne County, or $10 per each day or portion thereof that they operate within the city limits.
Okay, I'm wrong. They told me they were seriously considering doing an annual.
So maybe we need to address the fees and just require the background check.
You know,
Is everybody okay with that?
And I will say the vendor that he has coming Wednesday has already initiated the stuff.
I
So
still
we're
think
good.
we need to think about some of this and making it a different ordinance or a different thing, because there's more and more food trucks coming along. And it's just a hassle, or we start doing things, if we wanna make it more feasible for them, then have everything done online. Application online, everything.
I mean, we'd have to look at it as a case-by-case basis, because I remember my first term here, we had I don't know if you remember this, but we had someone selling food out of their house. And they were going around door to door, and so we kinda had to handle that on a individual basis, so I get why the ordinance is there, but for this,
But you're allowed to do that by state law. That's the first time.
Not for
We're
the-
not gonna do away with permitting, I think we need to keep
I think
permitting,
we need
just
to
do
keep the
away with the
permitting.
employee background check.
And maybe we need to address
And
the.
they get a permit for a year, they're covered, whether they come back or not.
Mhm.
At that point, they would be foolish not to come back. Once
Right.
you've bought an annual.
Mhm.
yeah, I'm all in favor of your suggestion. Let's revisit the fees and cut out the background checks except for the office. Would that make things easier for you?
To make things easier, what's the permit process? So can they print this and mail this, or they have to sign it in front of a city employee, or?
Well, for the background check, they
Oh, for-
they have to sign a form consenting to the background check, but everything else they can print from our website, they can email, we allow email back, but they do have to come in, it's either cash or check for the fees, but that shouldn't be an issue, because if they're coming into town on a Wednesday, they can just come a little before 5 and pay the fees.
Does it say y'all have a Dropbox? Say if they come
We
in
do,
after
but
5?
not for that, we have a Dropbox for utility payments.
Okay.
So, honestly, we've rarely had it be a hassle until we find out someone's coming the day of, and then everybody's scrambling because, and honestly, I'm not sure who told your last vendor, they were very gracious, I think maybe they're coming back, possibly. They were very gracious about it, but someone had told them they didn't need a permit. But when they got the message, they called right away, they were very gracious, so we really have issues with the vendors, they wanna do what's right too, because
Yeah, well, I think they
it's
were more
their.
scared because they were told the sheriff was gonna come and stop operations if they didn't get the permit. So they might have been gracious after the fact, but they were a little scared because they were told the sheriff was gonna come by. So that would have been, I would have been gracious too.
Really?
So,
They,
yeah,
okay, so when they came in.
and I was told the same thing.
Yes, because that's what's happened and
We've
not,
had- we've-
because we initiated in City Hall. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, we had that food truck up on the, so when they came in and got the permit, they were very kind, and we made a joke about,
I was gonna say, I called them, and I didn't say anything about the sheriff. I promise, I did not say anything about the sheriff. I was just like, oh, we're so happy that you're coming, and that, I did
Sure.
not, I
No, we have-
promise.
It's semantics at this point.
It's all the same, that he had. And we're talking about something totally different.
what?
This food truck that you're talking about.
Oh gosh, this was like last year, it's when that smash burger place came to town. And,
Whole different deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gas
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
and as it should be, and that's gonna be, and that's another thing, I will say, I have actually been approached in my off hours when we've had food trucks in town. Are they permitted? And I've actually kinda taken some heat for it because it took business away from, that's also part of the permitting process, because it's also fairness for the businesses we have in town. I had a 20-minute conversation one night because that food truck was in town. And I don't even, I sell the licenses in here, that's all I do, I don't enforce the code. So,
Somebody has a problem with competition, that's their issue.
That's right.
Okay, so we can do, so what's clear on the fees? So we do have some out-of-state trucks coming in, we have some, obviously some out-of-county.
If
What
they
are
want
all-
an annual permit, it's $75. If they want it for one day, it's 10. It's 10 for everybody, whether they're in county, out of state.
So just for the day.
If they
it's
want it
10.
for one day, it's $10.
Okay.
Plus,
Plus $25 per person
The first-
background if we're gonna be
the
doing,
first time
We're
we're
just
doing
gonna do
just the
the-
background on the owner.
Just the owner.
so it's $25 for the background check on the owner, $10 for a one day. If they wanna do another day, then they'll need to pay another $10 if they wanna do it for a
So in that
year.
instance of one day and the background check, we're at $35.
So
Correct.
the 1 year
These
is
trucks are-
good for the whole year of the breakdown?
Yes.
But you guys already did a background check, so they want to do that again.
That
Right.
particular truck.
But Jim said that this one that's coming has already initiated the process.
He's talked over the phone, he hasn't been in town to do the permit, correct?
no, but we've already, I mean, they've got the stuff submitted back, Wyatt's already been working on it, so we'll be good to go Wednesday. I just only needed to come in a little before 5 and we have everything ready for him to pick up.
Okay.
Does that seem reasonable to you?
That seems reasonable, it needs to be, to me, just logical, I mean, the
Yeah.
logistics of it,
Yeah.
you know, so, I think that's fine,
Okay.
we can make that work.
Very good.
Can he do the application ahead of time and then pay the fee and then later get reimbursed?
That's gotta be signed by the owner.
It's gotta be-
Signed by-
Well, I mean, all you have to do is email it.
Is what your question is, if the owner does everything and sends it to Jen correctly, can Robert come in and pay the fee if they're not gonna be here by 5 and then have the truck
Oh.
reimburse Robert? I don't think the city cares how they get paid for the
No, we don't
license,
care.
it just needs to be paid before the license is issued.
I just wonder if
Yeah, sorry.
And I think that's make that available to him too, cause that may make things easier for you.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it easier, so if they're running late, car issues, they show at 5:30, yeah,
Thanks.
don't want an issue there, just trying to think of the logistics.
Sure.
Yeah, more
Very
things.
good. Alrighty.
Okay, one more small thing, on Washington, the 6 light poles that go west, past the senior center, those have been out, are those at a maintenance issue, or are those just non-operational?
Probably
a wait.
Okay,
That's how we check.
gotcha.
I think you can all for them.
The theater plans are over there. This is the theater
Oh,
plan.
we
The
were just at a
renovation
meeting
plans.
and they were wondering who had the plans for the first phase,
Yeah,
so they're out there.
okay,
So I emailed Alicia a while ago and told her, but yeah, if you wanna make sure to take a look.
okay.
Also, I got one more, small question for you. Are we meeting at your place with this Wednesday?
Yes, yeah,
We
that's
are.
still on, yeah.
Okay,
Is that for all of us, or you're buying?
You're
Is
all
that what I
invited,
heard?
no, you're not buying, no,
Darn it.
I'm in business, you
So
buy.
what is the food truck, what's coming?
The Cooking Mouse from Goodland, buffalo wraps, smash burgers, they got a couple Phillies, different Phillies,
fantasy football.
Oh,
should be good.
I thought Bert was buying.
There's a
something,
handful of
I'm
people
sorry.
that have had them from in town, and they said they're really good.
Cool.
So I'm excited. And we got a couple barbecue ones coming in a few weeks, so,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks.
Small business incentive for Casa Flores.
I'd say, yes.
Moved by David, second by Justin, all in favor? Resolution 2026-03, payment of claims for review and approval.
So this is the one that would, replace the consent agenda, making sure that we're doing everything appropriately to pay the bills ahead of time and then present them as we do with the rest of the bills.
I'm gonna do approve.
Moved by Larry, second by Randy, all in favor?
We need to vote.
We need to vote. Yes. Bud? David?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Randy? Justin?
Yes.
Alright. Ordinance 660, Uniform Public Offense Code.
There's a typo on one of those, just so everyone's aware. The actual one that we'll sign is correct, but there's a typo with the, what was it,
The heading says 2003 and it should be 2015, but the actual meat
Right.
of the ordinance says the correct code year.
and we've printed it out correctly now, but the one that you're reviewing has the error.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Randy,
Second.
second by David. Bud? David? Larry?
Yes.
Randy? Justin? Alright. Ordinance 661.
Let's see.
661 is the standard second. So we'll do that here.
I'm gonna approve.
Moved by Larry,
Second.
second by David and, Bud. David, Larry,
Yes.
Randy, Justin.
Yep.
Building permits.
It's yours.
I think there's one in there, there's one right here, there's this good.
Any issues? Move.
Second by Randy, all in favor?
Another thing about building permits, if nobody has issues with it, I wanna start putting the cutoff at noon, the Friday before the meeting. If they come in 4 o'clock, I'm not gonna go at 4 o'clock.
I think it's a good idea. You don't put a cutoff on, they'll come in 5 minutes before.
Yeah. Property cleanup. Have 600 call-outs.
Jamie, this is great, by the way.
Wyatt
Yeah,
does
it
that,
is.
and Wyatt's been doing it, so we're just making sure that it's updated and bringing it in every time.
It's super helpful.
Okay. And if there's any additional information you need on it, just let me know.
No, just seeing the abated sold and tire fire program, I mean, that's just really cool to have all that, so you know exactly what's going on.
Right, right.
Did we send a new,
Which one?
this last one? I was gonna say, I thought we sent a new notice. We put it on the last meeting.
For,
The river one, but
yes.
I saw the first one and I'm like, that's February.
I thought we updated it, I'm sorry.
He did, there's just two.
Oh, got you.
He added a second one. Mhm. Yeah, just one over here. No. Mm-mm.
I've got a question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Is there any reason that 203 East Anderson is still on it?
203 East Anderson.
You don't have the same one I have.
Oh, I don't have 203
It's
East
the one
Anderson.
that was on the shared drive, so I just printed it.
I'm looking at the one on the shared drive and it only has 4 lines that I can see.
One
Yeah,
that was printed on
Do you
shared
have one
drive.
from a different date?
Nope, it's the one, got it yesterday.
I mean, like out of a different folder, a dated folder?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I got this in here.
Okay. Yeah, that one's right.
Okay.
What about 703 South Kansas? Cause like we did really good for a while and then it's just stopped.
Haven't been by there, so we'd still pretty well. 703 behind the liquor store.
Bad weeds, still a lot of trash there. The front door is boarded up now. They did take the back extension off.
Did we, what was the deal with that one? Cause we didn't send them a letter, correct, the new owners, did we visit with them?
I don't know if we did or didn't.
Send
That,
them a letter for what?
Property cleanup, cause this was to the old owner, on 703 South Francis.
Yeah, no, so you know, they bought it and then I think the assumption was that, cause they went to town for a while and then, so I don't think it's been
No.
addressed because they were cleaning it up.
do you want a letter?
There's still a lot of trash back there.
So maybe just need to, a follow-up, just
Do you
kind of,
want me to
hey,
try
we know
and
that
do
you
a
recently bought this,
call
we're working
first?
on, maybe a phone call, you think?
I can try and give them a call.
I mean, I think just maybe they've done a lot of work, that maybe we just kinda, what's the, a status update? 703 South Francis.
Okay. I will get that taken care of this
Okay.
week.
We'll leave it to, like the summer go.
Yeah,
Okay, any updates on that?
I don't think so, Laura, that one's scheduled for court, right?
Yes.
Dennison, 616 South Dennison.
Yes. On the 18th.
So, that one's still.
And that's the attorney report.
That's cheating.
Yeah, you have to say that again when it's your turn.
Okay.
Now you got a turn.
I was asked. I was recognized.
Where's 511 South?
You were asked.
The history house. That's the, sorry, that
On the
history house.
on the north side?
Mhm.
Okay. What about the property behind Western Street, or Western Auction?
Behind it.
Then we looked at that, we addressed some things with them early on.
Do you,
Put the fence,
by behind, do you mean to the west or to the south?
To the
To the
south. It looks to
What
me
kind
like there's a ton of vehicles there, and a lot of collections of stuff there now.
can you put the fence up there?
Is that the one that we're gonna start a business?
Mhm.
There's been a lot of cars and campers there for years.
Since we bought it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was that gonna be like an auto place? Like a mechanic place?
I think that was mechanic, maybe it was gonna do mechanic stuff? Or did he do-
I don't remember.
I think it's
You're
gonna be
talking
a
about-
mechanic.
I'm sorry?
Talking about the old one.
Mhm. Cause I feel like, have we had property cleanup on that, or have we just, these came in about a fence? We approved building permits for fences.
And then when you guys got that all zoned, because that wasn't zoned, did you zone it for residential and commercial?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes a difference.
Cause it was never zoned
Right.
in Western and Arlene and. was gonna say, I thought he's done quite a bit, I thought it looked a lot better.
Still, good.
Go by and look at it.
Yeah, I guess, we take a look. Yes, it is. Cause nothing's been said since that, correct? Right, so. What about, we've got 600 South Adams listed here, that we granted, he'd asked for 45 days. I didn't mind that, but I don't think. Has he done anything?
That's another one I hardly ever go down like Adams. It's over a whole block.
So far from the house.
Is that the one on the corner?
Mhm. That's the one I was gonna say. Mhm. That came in.
People lived in.
That's
Sorry?
It's being lived in. And that utilities, cause I didn't think we turned utilities until the work was done.
They requested the water so they could work on the plumbing. And he had electricity for, that house has had electricity since the previous owner. So then they worked on the plumbing, and the water turned on. And now it's occupied.
I thought part of that was,
If that was the case, that was not relayed to me, because when they wanted the water on it, it was because they were working on the plumbing and they got the plumbing fixed. So the plumbing must be fixed, because it's not like using a bunch of water, so the plumbing must be up to date.
There's also a place on Quincy Street, south of the hospital, got a bunch of bindweed and sanders all over the place. It's a dirt house,
yeah, we had discussed,
and then across the street, nothing but sanders in the whole yard, so.
not much to do about Sanders, but, and then we had discussed about sending working with Noxious Weed County and sending letters to properties we know in town that have noxious weeds.
I need to get hold of Mike again for my place because of bindweed. Usually, I tell him that every spring he comes by and takes care of it. I haven't seen him lately, so.
It's not spraying yet.
That's
And
spring
that's
now.
Okay, so since we're having this discussion, what do we do about people growing sunflowers in the street?
I mean, technically you're responsible for the center of the street to the center of the alley.
Okay,
So, I mean,
look at it. Okay.
So the
It was
homeowners.
just, it was different driving by, say they got a little wall embankment around it and everything.
really,
Yeah, like bricks around it. So
It's
if
the
you
one
want
I
to pull up
took.
there to the curb, you
In the
could.
street?
It's the one I texted you about.
I texted you too, sent you a
Where's
picture.
this at? I gotta go look.
yeah.
The corner is Spencer and Scott.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it-
yeah.
the sunflower is in the street.
Well, it looks to me
Yeah.
like it's in the gutter, and the homeowners are responsible for the curb and gutter, so, you
What
know.
about-
No, I had to mow
What about the
the
side of
gutters.
the gutter of the streets?
You're responsible for the center of the street.
So the homeowner needs to spray the streets? So,
Technically, yeah.
I mean, that's our street.
I mean, I do think.
All you gotta
Hey.
do is, we're gonna tear up our
What's the
streets.
it's the corner of
Because all the grass is growing.
Spencer and Scott.
Spencer Scott.
So if I pay someone to fix my street, cause I can do that. Since I'm responsible for it.
To fix your street?
Right. Center of the question, from curb to the center of the street, right?
Good question. I've never
I don't know.
understood that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
No.
didn't open that paper.
City
No,
took
no,
care
no.
of spraying the streets.
Well,
They do, but
They used to.
technically, yeah, isn't it technically?
I think
Your
it's in the ordinance, but
That's what I
Yeah.
thought,
You'd have to
technically it's
look.
your.
I know Mike Mike used to
the
drive by.
ordinance?
wanna change it, now would be the time.
Look that up.
She's already in the middle of that.
But the guys are, they go around town and
Yeah,
spray.
Mike's.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah,
Mike
the
had
city
his
sprays it, but I
over
think
there
it's
on the north
technically
side.
yours as a homeowner. So back to the
I can't
property
think
at
of it.
600 South Adams. We're gonna-
Oh, look at that one, that's close enough. Got it tonight.
wanna wait till the next meeting? Okay.
So do we need to give papers to everybody in the town? Cause all we're doing is hurting our streets. Even the ones we just grassed over.
Anything else?
I was gonna say, the guys are out spraying, so I don't know what the
I'll
argument
take
is.
the book
I
out.
don't know either. I mean,
I know they haven't been down,
They haven't made every street, no,
yeah,
but
no, they haven't been down in my area, so,
that's the problem, the wind blows in that problem.
yeah, he's gonna have a whole bunch of stuff.
all right, so 600 South Adams, let's, everybody drive by it.
Have you been back by it at all? 600 South Adams?
Well, other than, it's not,
That's what's happening.
it's not a lot better. I don't think,
Well, and he was just decided to put a roof on.
I don't think it is, I don't think they
That was what
decided,
was-
yeah.
When Dan and I looked back in November,
Yeah, so, I don't think it's been any siding, I haven't seen any roof removed.
Is this the property that the lady owns that she's renting out? Or am I on the wrong?
Bird City guy.
I'm on the wrong side of town.
the Bird City guy that came
I'm on
in
the wrong side of town.
45 days ago. Well, we can take a look and
49 days ago.
to be exact. Projects pending.
What do we have decided to do with the old playground equipment, whenever that happens?
Thought we had talked about moving it up to the roadside
Yeah,
park.
I didn't know if we nailed that down or not, but.
And then I-
That was the last thoughts that I remember hearing was thought about moving to the woods.
mhm. Yeah. David pointed out the, shipping container was the follow-up in August.
The streets ordinance only discusses curb and gutter repair, maintenance, and alteration. It doesn't actually discuss, it discusses
Weeds
curb and
growing.
gutter, but it does not actually discuss in
Weeds
the
growing
road.
in the middle of the street. Guess that's always been my understanding.
I think that's for mowing stuff, but I don't remember what happens in there. Yeah, I don't think it says in the ordinance to fix the street.
No, as far as the
I think it's more
maintenance-
for keep taking care of
the weeds, yeah,
um,
middle of the alley, just keep the weeds down. Well, what's your,
Where did we leave off on this last time?
they were in August of last year and asked for a year extension, so year after year extension.
And, okay, we have, what does the ordinance say?
Our
You're not allowed to
ordinance
have
says no shipping containers. We have told 2 individuals no. So,
Since then, or before then?
one might have been,
One was before.
both were before, one was back in 21 or 22, and then one was right before this happened. Cause that's what instigated them getting a letter was the neighbor next door was told no.
Then I'm thinking, court, we've given them the year, they've got the year, the ordinance says this. We've kind of done our part.
I'm totally on the opposite end, guys. It's commercial property, they're one of the largest businesses in town.
But we told the neighbor next door no.
But it's
you
not
can't
the
pick
same,
it.
it's not the same neighbor. It's a whole different
But
setup.
you told somebody no. But
I get
it's in
that.
a commercial, same neighborhood that we've told somebody no. How do you justify telling somebody yes?
So if somebody gets a variance to be zoned commercial, they can have a storage container at their house?
No. What we've discussed is strictly commercial on Main Street.
We've told people no, I think we've got to enforce the code. Fairly, everybody, you can't pick and choose.
But at this point, they've had that thing for how long?
10 years ago, they put it. And they're using it for storage for stuff they're building.
So catch me up though, they got a year, they came in a year ago?
They got
Oh,
more,
they
they've
called
had,
it-
they've had
called
more
it.
than a year. They had a notice, then they were given more time, and then they came in again in August, and then they said they needed, I think they actually said they needed 6 months, and to be gracious, the council gave them a year. They said they could have it gone in 6 months, the council gave them a year.
Well, and within a year, you can build a building for storage.
What prices are going up,
A,
so?
a metal building or a wood frame building,
That's L-shaped there, you've got,
they don't cost that much. And you have better storage and you're gonna get a shipping container anyway. So, yeah,
Yeah, to me it's clear cut, I mean, do what your ordinance says, I'll change the ordinance. Kind of the same thing we talked about on the trucks, the food trucks.
I think at the very least, you need to give them the opportunity to respond and see where they're at before we go any further. And that's my opinion.
that's quite it.
I would ask for executive session for advice of communication subject to attorney-client privilege, advice of legal counsel, before we discuss this any further.
okay. Do you want everybody?
Everybody in the room is fine, but it needs to,
Is there a motion to go into executive session? Is it how much?
I guess it depends, it's gonna depend how much the council wants to discuss. I have,
Start with 5
we
minutes?
we should start with 5 minutes.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
moved by Randy. Second by David, all in favor? We're out of executive session, no decisions were made, is there a motion to go back in for an additional 5 minutes?
So moved.
So moved by Randy,
Second.
second by Larry, all in favor? Out of executive session, no decisions were made, we have a motion to go back in for an additional 5.
So moved.
Moved by Randy, second by Bud, all in favor? We're out of executive session, no decisions were made. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Patrick, pending? Any comment on that?
I'm looking, see what's what,
Yeah. Okay. Oh, theater report. There you go.
Yeah. They're having a meeting at the high school on the 16th of September on the grant with the foundation, for phase 1. Phase 1 is going to encompass, the concession area and the restrooms. One of the things you may wanna help advise them on, Dan, is the restrooms has to be ADA compliant, the door cannot swing out, it has to swing in. Well, they can't swing in right now the way it's constructed and be ADA compliant, so they don't know what kind of door. They don't know if they need to put a barn door on or what, I don't even know if that's ADA compliant. I'm not up to code on that kind of stuff. But they're gonna have to figure that out, and so, they do have evidently the ball rolling as far as the advertising. In talking to the limited amount of people we had at tonight's meeting, 4 of us there, Jessica came and then left. With 4 of us there was 4 different impressions of why they're doing the advertising. And I said, well, my first meeting I came and I talked about advertising, my impression of advertising was for money. We're starting out about $1,000 in the hole, probably more every month. If we can start out in the black, that would be a nice thing. And so, one person said, well, I thought we were only gonna do 3 or 4 a month, and the man says, well, I thought we were gonna do 6, and the other one said, I thought we were gonna do 10. And I'm like, whatever comes up with $1,000 a month, that's what you ought to do, so you can start out in the black and not in the red every month. And, I asked all of them, I said, do you think you're gonna have any problem getting that many advertisers? And they said, no, we don't. So, I don't know what the confusion is there, but, however many advertisers they can get to cover the starting out in the hole every month is, to me, a no-brainer. All that being said, they think they have the dynamics with the, getting everything compatible for the digital stream with Steve down here at Treehouse Printing, and they're also working with, the former website developer's husband, what's his name? Matt. They're gonna get those two and make sure everything's fine-tuned. And so I said, do we have an opening date when we wanna start this? And they said, no. And I said, well, movies are starting to ramp up for the fall right now. You got a big one coming out this weekend. I said, why don't we shoot for October? And so I think that's what they're shooting for, is to have advertising available in October going forward. Because you've got, in December, you've got probably the biggest movie of the year coming out. And it'd be nice if you had advertising ramped up before then. So, that's the goal, is to have advertising, by that time.
To start the advertising with the first October meeting,
Mhm.
or movie?
Yeah.
So is someone going to make sure they get forms to City Hall and make sure we're all on the same page?
I think Alicia already has the forms,
But we need them at
okay.
City Hall, because all the money will go through City Hall.
Okay. And I think they know that, cause they mentioned that it has to go straight to here. And so, so I'll have Alicia get with you on that. And, cause I've got her kind of on a point on that. Couple other questions, they wanted to know if they can get bids from contractors, can we advertise for general contractors to get bids for phase 1? Is that something we can do, or is that something the city needs to do? That's what I'll ask.
When they started this project, weren't they working with an engineer? Does all that stuff? So, is that, was the city gonna have the engineer do it?
Whoever did
Like,
that.
sometimes that's how the project works, like the engineer does all
Who
that.
did that, Dan?
But I'm out of the loop on this, I just wanna make sure, cause I think the city would have to advertise the only building, right? Like the theater board wouldn't advertise for it. No. It's right.
City property.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Robert working on getting bids before?
He might have, I don't know, and they thought the guy down at the lighthouse had the drawings on my
He did
mind,
have
they
for a
said he was
while.
coordinating with contractors. I said, why was he coordinating with contractors, what does he have to do with anything? And they didn't have an answer for that, so, but I said, yeah, I think it would be wise to get bids, so we're not just forced to take anyone's
But-
word on anything.
If they're having trouble, if they have a question on the ADA door, wouldn't that all be in that?
Engineer.
Yeah, that would be an engineer question,
Yeah.
because, I mean, ADA, and maybe it's already in there. You know,
I'm
when-
sure it is, if you have drawings.
I mean, the only way to do really do bids is if they know what everyone knows what they're doing at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you have the
Well-
engineer stuff,
Everyone on that board is fairly new, and so they're all playing catch up as I am, so, I'm sure these drawings are gonna be surprising to most of them, so,
Well, I know Quentin from the lighthouse did come get these drawings. I think Robert had him working on, and the reason he was doing
okay,
with everybody else, cause he was gonna have someone go and do the heating, he was gonna be like the primary contractor,
okay.
have somebody else do the heating and someone else.
I think, was
Okay.
Terrence doing the electrical?
Hmm?
Was Terrence doing the electrical? It was kinda, him and Robert kinda overseeing the electrical, see what needed to be done.
That was the other question, they said, we wanna keep everything as local as possible, but they asked, is Goodland considered local? I said, I'll ask.
It's just, remember what's an open bid, it's really, what's an open bid?
Got so many contractors around.
Okay. And that's it. I think that's pretty much covers. So, is everyone on board? If they can get everything finalized and get the building done, straight to here, to get the, advertising started in October, is that okay? Okay.
The September date that you're talking about at the high school, isn't that a foundation grant deal across all different kinds of organizations?
It is, and it's gonna be all day from like 7 to 7.
Cause I know the park committee talked about that too.
Yeah. I'm sitting here and I'm on the board, I don't know how much the foundation, their matching grant is even for, do you?
Did they apply for a matching grant?
See, and I haven't gone to the last 3 meetings because I was on vacation and something else happened, so I'm kind of playing catch up, so.
I mean, they would,
Do we know how much the grant is for?
I don't think there's been a grant applied for, David.
Okay.
You
And
know,
Jessica was there tonight talking like there was something in the works.
they have money over at the foundation because we let them open that fund. And currently if that's what they're talking about right now, they have as of the end of the month, last month they have $1,194.95 with money with them, but as far as I know, there has never been a grant applied for, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, then, one other thing, then you may wanna talk with, the manager, because Jessica said something tonight, that, well, I know y'all have already got like 20,000
Yes.
at the city.
Yes, we have, as of the end of July, their cumulative in the city to be used like for matching funds is $21,356.42. It's all of this stuff is down here on this paper. I will say that the font is a bit small, so I can get the whole year on here, but, so they have money.
Have they been trying to do anything through Chris Olson?
Everybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that would have to come get approval from the council to apply for a grant. And then everybody would have to be on the same page for what they're applying for a grant for.
And then they have to do the steps because it's been pulling teeth to get them to close the Hanson grant that we thought was already closed. Like they didn't even thank them until we kind of forced them to.
Let me get on the phone with Lisa tomorrow, make sure I've got my T's crossed and I've got it, and then, I may encourage them to try to, yeah.
It may be advisable for Pat, and if someone else is kinda heading this up, to come to a city council meeting, don't you think? Because it's been very confusing. Robert handled a lot of stuff. But this project's been going on for quite a few years, really, in the scheme of things. But there's not been a grant applied for it. I'll just say that.
Well, I know tonight, I mean, one good thing is, have y'all heard any?
Robert applied for grants.
What's that?
I think he came to meetings and said he was applying for grants. Is that as far as I know? I don't know what happened after that.
We never did. Was that with the marquee?
No,
were
he talked
talks.
about, cause he talked about coming here and said, is it okay if I start getting people to start looking at these jobs and sort of, before I even do these bids, to see what we need to do, before we even have the bids.
Didn't they kind of talk about breaking it up into smaller,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. Instead of one big project,
But-
kind of breaking it.
Well, that,
into-
and I remember that's the first thing I said in my first meeting I had with him, because we'd had that discussion. Instead of, applying for one big grant, you actually kind of get more money if you break it up in phases, and it's also more realistic and more obtainable, and you can have a shorter window. And so you get this one, then, oh, well, that creates excitement, let's go to phase 2, and it builds on itself, so.
Mhm.
Those plans are 5 years old, so that's how long this has been going on,
Wow, okay.
those plans, yeah.
The one positive is, I haven't heard a word in 2 or 3 months about that sign from a word of complaint, so whatever Jessica's done, she's got it working, better anyway, so. Have y'all heard anything?
I think people are pleased that it
Hmm?
is just the movie,
Yes, movie, yeah.
movie title and hours, so.
Okay.
So, it's good.
Oh, they were gonna get a public thank you, for that sign, the grant and all that, get that done. Because they didn't realize that was something they needed to do, so they're gonna get that done.
Well, Jessica sent something, it has to be done by, in like 2 days.
I think
So
they've already got it on the Facebook page.
Jessica sent me the Facebook link, so that's, that's what I was talking about,
Okay.
was that it just like completely got dropped.
And then, what's his name, gonna get it on the website as well.
Okay.
So, okay.
And that'll help us close that one out at least, cause, we don't do their steps, that we run the risk of not being able to
Okay,
utilize that again.
okay. Okay,
else?
that's all I got.
Is there a motion to accept and file the theater report?
So moved.
Moved by Bud, second by Larry, all in favor. Pool report.
I know from the last meeting that I missed that, you guys had discussed wanting to have the pool open this week, and I talked with Dan, I talked with Amanda about it, and talked in depth with Kelly about it too, and she was adamant that she did not have enough kids to run the pool this week with school activities and vacations and kids going out of town for different camps and stuff. And I talked to her 2 or 3 times about if we had any other issues, if we could bring any volunteers in or anything. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make it happen. She was looking at doing weekends, they're still doing laps, they're still doing exercise. The school will have at least 1 week, that'll be a week towards the end of August when school gets rolling again, that they're gonna use it. But it's unfortunate, and believe me, I'm as frustrated, if not more, than anybody on the council about this whole deal. We fought this way for years. It's like when fair's done,
People check out.
you can't get kids to stay, kids are gone, and we lost, I don't know, 2 or 3 kids that were from out of town that had to leave, there's kids that were going to school.
And that's typically the week no parents take their kids shopping
A lot
for
of
the
them do,
school year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe our biggest mistake with that pool is hiring kids, strictly kids for
Well,
lifeguards. Let's
yeah,
hire some
we've-
adults.
We've tried that, and we've tried to push that, to try to get adults to apply, and, we honestly haven't had any luck.
I know of a couple who
When I was running
volunteered.
my license, it's like your baby.
Volunteer
I'm sorry.
and being a lifeguard's a
When
whole
I
different
ran
deal.
my license, it's like
You
your
have to be
baby.
certified to be a
I know.
lifeguard.
This one, the ones that I've talked to were certified when they were kids, they'd have to get recertified. But that's not a big deal, obviously, because we can get teenagers certified, so that's not a big deal. If people are willing to do it,
Yeah, as long
let's
as-
get them.
As long as you post it, no, that's great. As long as that gets thrown out there and the opportunities are, but like I'm saying, we've put that out there in the past. We're not getting any kind of response.
Feel like you're beating your head against the wall on that?
I'm sorry?
Feel like you're beating your head against the
it hasn't been just 5 years, it's been 30 years.
Yeah.
I think everybody fights the teenage thing, it's the only ones that they want lifeguarding.
I wish we could come up with 2 or 3 adults. But unless it's a volunteer deal like you're talking about, most people have jobs, they don't wanna look at something that's not gonna pay what they're making. And there's all kinds of different excuses and stuff, we just not, unfortunately, have minimum and get it done. So. And Kelly also told me that this past week, and it does slow down during fair time. She said numbers have really dropped off. So. That's all I really know. You were right on chlorine?
I ordered 4 barrels today, cause they're gonna be in Kobe tomorrow, so I told him to order 4. Be about $1,035 plus freight.
If that'll finish it off.
Should, I mean, it's gonna be close still, but we got some granular stuff too, so.
Yes. I don't know, I mean, I'm always open for suggestions. Been on the pool board a long time.
Considering how we
About
started
this-
the year off, I think it was a pretty successful year.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you guys, the fact that we did start late, why can't we keep moving? And we just couldn't get it pulled off.
I was saying on the net, there's several Kansas towns keeping their pools open later because of the heat. So I was hoping you were one of them.
I'd be all for it if we could staff it.
Yeah.
The biggest concern is safety for the kids. And you can't cover the pool with, if you had 10 kids, you could probably cover it with 2 parents. But if you don't wanna take a chance of liability issues with swimmers.
It's not having a slide going, not enough to man some of the stuff, to
Right.
keep the pool open.
Or switch it and do certain things at certain times. That's all I got.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Is there a motion to accept and file the pool report? Moved by David, second by Bud, all in favor? Superintendent report.
Okay, so last meeting, you guys approved to buy the water ordinance for $3,185.07. And when that was over, they threw freight in on me, so now it's $3,204.03. And just to note that, we don't have to re-motion, do we? For the $18.93.
I make a motion.
Moved by David,
Second.
second by Larry, all in favor?
And there's, it's in the packet somewhere, but our shop air compressor quit, so we can get one down here for $2,795.
Do I hear a motion to approve that?
Sorry.
Moved by David, second by Randy, all in favor?
Jarrett will need to so he's got 65 hours of vacation, we need to carry over, he'll use 40 of it right after his anniversary date, like the week after. So about 25 actually carry over. Good with that.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Verizon's equipment is off of the water tower.
Thought it looked more naked.
Huh?
Was
I
there,
thought it looked a little more naked.
was there some reason for that? Are they going to a different tower?
They haven't been using it for, what they say, 3 or 4 years.
Since
Really?
2021,
They didn't even
right?
know it was up there apparently.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And they called to terminate their contract, so I would take pictures of their equipment, and they're like, we'll get out there right away.
Huh. That must've been really outdated equipment.
I did notice AT&T was there this last week or two.
So,
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Trav was working up in that area and he said it scared him half to death because he heard this big old crash and it literally just thrown it off the side of the
Oh, no kidding.
Heard something crash and he looked and he was just looking stuff.
Look out below.
Yep.
I did have Shane with Ward come in with, the precision testing group. They looked at the substation plant, I'm waiting on information from, what we need to do, what we can get done, stuff, check that transformer out. all that. I don't know what happened here, but I was talking to Jarrett one day and I looked over and that's how the roof looked on our well house.
Is that the one you sent me?
Probably. But anyway, just information, we got Brock trying to give us a quote on whether we can fix it or not. I think we decided there was no insurance. Jamie and I kinda looked at it, see if we can.
Some of this how it is, I suppose it's not real surprising.
The scary part is, we don't know how many times we went inside before we realized the roof wasn't there anymore, cause inside you can't tell anything.
And that's the one behind the power plant? South?
Is that well actually function? No?
We do use it for storage, but I wonder if we could put something out of the well and put a small building out there if we needed to. We'll see what the prices come in at, and I guess I'll come back,
Yeah.
figure it out.
Is that where you were storing the Christmas lights and stuff?
No, we're not
Right.
So we need to, I hope to finish getting quotes for Greg's work in the next week or so.
Are you still planning on having them come in this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. We got a couple of good spots to fill in.
Do you have enough supplies?
That's why I gotta get quotes.
Oh, okay.
I guess you missed last meeting, so I wanted to do that alley behind Bud's house. I've been up there 3 or 4 times, and well, and then we got a spot over here where we keep blowing the fuse every Sunday. The transformer's really not big enough for it. They say 5 kVA per house, this transformer's a 15, and we're running 8 houses on it. But it's always held up before, so I don't know if it's just the hot weather, it's not letting it do it or what. We change the fuse and it keeps going. The only thing we got to need 15 minutes executive session for application review.
Any questions for me? So a motion to accept and file the superintendent report.
So moved.
Moved by Larry, second by Bud, all in favor? Attorney report.
Municipal courts on the 18th.
Speaking of that block up there,
Yeah.
have we, on the rezoning, on that?
I have not,
mention that?
you've mentioned it, I have not touched it, I am trying to get the recodification done, that has been my main project. I can pause with that and go to,
No, that's fine, just so we don't forget that.
no, I have a running list of city things. I have a
Okay.
running list of city things that I have, that I keep what needs to be done, needs to be checked off, but my primary concern right now is getting the code updated as stated in the last 2 meetings and getting all the citations correct and then getting it off to Larry Kleeman. So that is where I am at, but it is on my list of things to do.
Very good.
Yes. And if you want me to pause the code and do that, I can, but I haven't.
Let's get the code.
Yeah, I was like, I'd like to get the code done first.
Is there a motion to accept and file the attorney report?
So,
Moved by David, second by Randy, all in favor? Treasurer report.
The only thing I have is we reached out to the auditors, on that, pool leak bill. And we can pay that out of capital improvement. So I talked to Amanda and Jamie, and our recollection was that the consensus of the council was if we were able to do that, to pay it out of capital improvement. The check is in the pile this evening, So I would need a motion to go ahead and pay Carruthers Construction Company, for the repair, locate and repair the pool leak bill in the amount of $16,524.85 out of capital improvement.
So moved.
Moved by Larry, second by David, all in favor?
I think that's all I have.
Motion to accept and file the treasury report. Moved by Randy, second by David, all in favor? Clerk report.
Give me just a second. Okay, sorry. So you'll see your reports there. I don't guess I got mine. Okay, yeah, the paid invoice report and the revenue expense with cash. Any questions on those? And then I think I included in there for you guys the, where we were talking about updating the permit for construction. Dan reviewed it, he said he was good with it, so if you guys are okay with it, I'd like permission to just start using this one. I don't think we need a vote or anything, but if everybody's good with it.
You guys are good with it. Everybody okay with that?
So if everybody's good with it, we'll just replace the current one with this one and start using it. And then we've recently become very popular and everybody wants to, know what's going on in council. So we kind of had a verbal policy for records released, and then we followed, of course, Coma and Cora, and that's the how, that's the what, that's the why, but we didn't really have a policy for the how, except for a verbal policy. So because we're receiving requests, we have a mock-up here. It follows all of the legal requirements for KOMA and KORA, and then basically it just kind of explains why. And this is kind of a bigger thing because I'm planning on getting policies and procedures for most things because I feel like it's necessary. You have laws for the what, but you have policies and procedures for the how, and we seem to not have those. So, first of all, this would be the format that I'd like to continue using if everyone's all right with that. And then second, if you wanted to read over it, or I can explain anything that you had questions about, this just kind of explains, what our policy from here on out, if you approve it tonight, would be for releasing information, especially, we've had a few people who want us to do standing requests. Well, that's not necessarily feasible, and it's not within our current, the way we do things currently. So this kind of just would, if someone had a question, we'd be able to explain to them what our policy is for release of information, or for records requests, etc. There's a fee associated with that, and if we have a standing request, they can't necessarily pay that fee ahead of time every single time. They need to be coming in and making a request so that we have it on record why they're doing it. They're attesting that they're not using this for a business purpose, because that's not within the law. It explains the KSAs and the restrictions, etc. So if everyone is all right with this, this would become our new policy, and honestly, you'll probably start getting one or two session from me for just policies that the office seems, I feel the office needs to run effectively. But
We just need it 99.
Yes, we need just,
policies and procedures, this is
Yes.
the way we handle certain situations. And
right,
I think you've taken a good first step to knock one off the list and
yeah.
is everybody okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. Do you need a motion?
Yeah, I do believe you guys will have to vote on that.
Move to approve it.
Moved by Larry, second by Randy, all in favor?
We need to, I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt the
No.
motion. I just wanted
So we're good, we're good.
Okay,
You got everybody?
Yeah,
sorry. We need to appoint Jamie as the
Thank
Freedom
you.
of Information Officer. When we didn't have a clerk, you guys appointed Wyatt, just kind of as an interim thing, but the typical setup is the clerk is the Freedom of Information Officer.
I think it's statutory.
And that could be, I don't know, I just knew I needed to remind you about that.
Yes, thank you.
Brought this
I
up.
did have a note on it, but thank you.
Since we're doing this, she could start, that way we can go, hey Jamie, we got one of these.
Yeah,
Is there a motion to appoint Jamie as the Freedom of Information Officer, moved by David, second by Randy, all in favor?
I don't, there's a few just kind of, correspondence issues in there. There's a little newsletter from Options. I believe it's an invitation from Miller and Associates. And I do not believe I have anything else. Unless you were wanting to, we did get from Gilmore and Bell, we got the resolution back, but I believe you're still waiting on some stuff.
That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I guess.
I'm good, I don't have anything else.
There's something I just remembered though.
I'm sure there probably is.
Yeah, motion to second file the clerk report. Moved by Justin, second by Randy, all in favor? Did you need to?
I need a redo,
Okay. We need a superintendent report,
yeah.
dot two.
Not to.
Yeah, I did get quotes for the water lines.
We're talking about up here?
Well, we thought about the one up here to discuss that, and then the one on Emerson Street. And I really think it needs to be done, because we've been there 3 times in the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But, so Line Supply put all this together as both streets together.
Now the party can start, right?
I don't know, I was supposed to be here a long time ago, but there's something in town that's just so much fun going on, so I wasn't. Y'all even need me here anymore, or,
No,
okay,
I think we're good.
Unless you wanna do a sheriff's report.
Yeah.
You
There's
can sit
always
here.
what sheriff's report, what am I gonna
Ooh.
do, man?
I need you for something. I need the letter.
Help me out, which letter? This
The-
one?
The one we talked about the return.
I'm gonna just make up the stats you wanna hear in my head.
Oh, you want this back too?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think we
Lauren,
need
what do you want?
You want me?
You had the look on your face.
You don't want, I don't think you want me to do this on record.
Okay, what?
Thank you.
I'm going to,
You.
okay.
I don't know,
Thanks.
Sheila. Thank you. Superintendent report, dot 3.
I'm stopping at 5.
Okay.
Okay, so for Salina Supply, this is a rough figure, but Emerson Street would be about $59,865.07.
Can I ask you a quick question? On what we've already done and it keeps finding a new leak on us, what have we spent on that already? Roughly?
With labor and everything, I don't,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, let's just do it.
it was overtime.
Cause you're gonna keep chasing those leaks, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're just talking supplies there?
Well, no, that's with Lesueur's work,
Oh, okay.
but then
That's tough.
municipal supply with the same thing would be, let's see, this is $61,574.82. But municipal supplies also include taps or valves and possible hot taps, I'm not sure. Yeah, check on the hot tap part of it. But they do have the valves in there and all that, so I'm assuming that includes the taps. So I think we'd be better off going with this price versus the other one, cause they broke it down a lot better and added more stuff. So then that one should be worst case, so that would be for Emerson Street. So on Emerson Street for municipal supply, it is $10,974.82 in just supplies. And then when you add Scott's work in there, it's $61,574.82.
And which one was it that you liked?
How, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How much of an area are you talking about?
Block.
One block?
Two of them.
So basically, you come off College, and just go down one block, and then that next block.
Yeah, I used to live on Emerson. I don't remember where it's at.
I can tell you
It's not in
exactly
front of
where it's
your
at,
old
it's just in
house.
front of Jacko's house.
Oh, it would be in front of
Yeah.
Is everybody in favor of, we need a motion?
I thought the other street,
What's that?
I thought there was another street.
We talked about Spencer, if we're gonna put concrete up there to replace that water line, which we already got a quote on that, right?
Do what?
On Spencer?
That would be,
And are we taking it out of, could we pay this?
That's my question when I get done figuring over there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we should make the motion.
So we don't wanna get them up to 2.5,
No,
starting at 2.3.
so yeah, Spencer Street, if we decide to do that main, it'll be
85, wasn't it?
$85,450 for Scott's work, another $12,199.38 for supplies. So 97,649.38 for the water main part if we decide we wanna do it, and then another Brock's bill would be $278,288.
Yeah, how much left over in bond?
That's what this will be for, so. Gilmore and Bell, I didn't bring the other paper with me, but they brought it up to like 200 because I think that's where we would be at. I have to get you the paperwork on it exactly. I have the resolution for what we discussed at the last meeting but they changed the date for us. If you guys don't wanna do it today, if you don't wanna make the resolution, vote on the resolution today, we can always change the date for the next meeting after we're sure of costs and plans.
And we're okay with doing it this year yet?
As far as the concrete,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
As far as Brock and the school doesn't have any issues with,
I haven't been able to talk to the school, but I talked to Brock, and he said he'd start in 2 weeks.
of course, 2-week Brock would say 2 weeks.
But you know, I was gonna say there again, yeah.
I mean,
And
is
the
it,
main,
he's
the
pretty
main up
good.
there, I don't know how you guys feel about that. We've not had any issues up there right now, but
the moment we put
you may
concrete
pour
on it,
concrete and have problems in a week.
I think just go ahead. If they do water before, we pour concrete.
we had that issue on Francis, we poured concrete and we kept having to
Clear that.
tear it out till we replaced it.
Is there anything out of the ordinary up there that you're aware of? pipes running where they're not supposed to be, or?
And Francis told me that.
Yeah, I'd just say, not that I'm aware of, but that can change in a matter of one scoop.
Fix it before you have bigger issues.
What's your thoughts?
Where did we decide we were gonna take that out? I know part of it's the leftover.
It's 190, almost 195.
278, right?
Yeah.
So, we'd basically be looking at 178, 100,000 for the water line and 78 left over for the street. And we take that out of where? Still figuring,
Well, right now I'm working on this, Emerson
okay?
block for just a second, cause I feel like, well, you can do one motion, but you're gonna have to specify Woodsville Construction and then whatever the other company is. Municipal supply, I just was gonna let you know how much was in capital improvement. Oh, that would be included in it. Well, right now in capital improvement, you have $953,935.88. So, I would say on the water line part of both streets, it would be a capital improvement. But also you have the infrastructure improvement fund too. So either one, I think would be appropriate to fix these water lines. I mean, it's infrastructure, so I mean, honestly.
Structure for the street, for the concrete, I thought.
Yes, yeah, but in infrastructure,
Improvement for the water lines and then the.
because in infrastructure improvement, right now you guys have $728,274.63.
We need to use some of them.
Is there?
Is that for the street part of it, and then we use capital improvement for the water lines?
Maybe we could do that.
Or use what we have for capital improvement for water, and water left over, all that infrastructure. Both water lines.
Jamie, is the only thing, in the, on the encumbrance list, out of the infrastructure improvement, just that street, the Spencer Street?
Yes.
Big motion for that.
Yes, I think so.
When did you guys do that? Do you remember? Yeah. Yeah. Some of that in capital improvement is the stuff for Ward as well. You guys haven't actually encumbered it, so it's just been understood around 200,000.
You got 200, but then we had some.
We've used some of that for 2026. I was gonna try, I do believe that you motioned to pay the,
Concrete is infrastructure.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Was that,
Use up some of the infrastructure. Yeah, and that would take this place to put all of it if we can.
I don't know about you guys, but I've got like you with that fund.
Well, I mean, I get that, but also if we wanna do a large project, we gotta
That's true too.
let it build a little bit to be able to, when it costs 50,000 just to mobilize, 75,000, you kinda wanna have a bigger project.
I just was trying to see, I'm pretty sure you guys motioned to pay, the additional on Spencer Street above what we had left in bottom ones out of the infrastructure improvement. So the street part of that is, I mean, totally up to you guys. I think that you can pay for the water portion of it out of either capital improvement or infrastructure, so that's totally up to you guys. Just remember in capital improvement, and this is gonna be a rough figure, I think we have about, you have all those papers in here? I mean, we still have a lot of money left, that's what we're buying the board stuff with, and from 25, because they part of 25 worth in 26. mean, that's not been encumbered, that was just in the transfer, so let's even say if we take off, and it's not gonna be 200,000 for both years, but I can't remember without those papers, so even if we took out 400,000 out of capital improvement to cover the ward stuff, you would still have, 553,935.88 capital improvement.
Two streets water would be around 150,000.
Well, you didn't give them the quote, did you tell them for Spencer Street?
Just for the water on both.
Is the 85.
Just for water.
Just the water, well, with Scott's, because if they decide to motion tonight, they'll need the whole amount.
So Spencer Street would be for the municipal supply, $12,199.38. For municipal supply under the. So Scott would be $85,450
On what?
for Scott to put it all in
Spencer.
on Spencer
So it's
Street.
12,001.
Spencer,
Yeah. From the supplies.
from the supply,
199.
38, was it?
12,199,
$12,199.38.
So that, do you have the total on Spencer Street then being a total of 97,649.38?
Say that again.
$97,649.38.
That's for Spencer Street.
That's just the water committee.
Just the water.
And Emerson total.
And then Emerson was
I had $61,574.82.
total.
We always been the water,
For the water.
The 61,574 was the total for Emerson.
$160,000 for both, just the water. Deal with both. Personally.
He's the
So do you, what you said, get the water out of the tap?
capital improvement.
Yeah.
And then do the streets out of
From the
infrastructure.
streets out of the other, yeah.
Yep.
So, how do we want to?
You need separate motions, you need.
I would think they would wanna make, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but I think that they should make a motion for the 300 block of East Emerson as one motion, including both bills with a total, and then a motion for the 500 block of East Spencer, including both bills with a
And then
total.
we've already done the street parts.
Right, so this would just be for the water mains when the motion's made.
So is that municipal supply on both? Right?
Yeah.
How do we make this motion?
I'll make the motion what she said.
I
There you
have-
go.
I have it written, do you want me to say what I would suggest and you can correct it or modify it?
Suggestions are there, we can read it.
So this is a 300 block of East Emerson. And that's Rizzo Construction Municipal Supply.
I moved on a 300 block of Emerson that,
East or west?
What's up?
300 east or 300 west?
East.
East of
No,
That's gonna be
East, okay. East of Emerson. Construction for the, is it the
Russo Construction.
Russell Construction $50,600. The municipal supply would be $10,974.82 for a grand total of $61,574.82 out of capital improvement.
Been moved by Justin,
Second.
second by Larry, all in favor?
You're a
And that
man of
move-
light tonight.
I move also on the 500 block East Spencer, the reusable construction will be $85,450. The municipal supply will be $12,199.38 for a total of $97,649.38 out of capital improvements.
Been moved by Justin,
Second.
second by Randy, all in favor?
Okay.
Alright,
And the street thing, we figured that we got it figured out, right? For him on the concrete.
oh,
for- That's all figured out.
I think we made a motion on all of it.
That's what I was thinking.
That was done.
And then next meeting, we'll argue about the power plant and stuff, and then get more information.
okay,
I think that's it.
is this
In the mouth.
point two done?
Three now,
2.5.
I think that's it.
Okay. Any other motion to go to? Where are we even at, council comments, Bud?
You might want a motion for that since there were, since there was a
Do
decision
we have
made.
a motion to
move.
approve the superintendent report?
I'm going
Point
to
two.
approve the additional superintendent report.
Moved by Larry,
Second by Randy.
second by Randy, all in favor? Bud, now you're up.
Just that I probably won't be here for the next meeting. Again, for vacation.
David? Larry?
I got a couple things, and I mentioned this to Amanda once, about, like, if you go and try to listen to these meetings, because that's what I did to catch up on the last meeting. I wonder if it would make any difference if the unit was sitting here, as far as being able to hear people better. I don't know, I'm just looking.
We need a better system. This has failed more times than not. If it,
You wanna dig into that?
yeah, can I please?
Yes.
So I would think the newer stuff probably have better amplification anyway.
There's gotta be something better, cause this is not great.
Just a suggestion.
I 100% agree with your suggestion. I will look into it if you're okay with it.
Yeah. I had somebody call me, and I need some clarification on this about, from the daycare over here, possibly needing a building permit because they're gonna put a shade up. Anybody know anything about this?
Shade.
I hadn't heard anything.
She hasn't turned it in yet. I mean, they're putting up a shade structure.
They're putting up a shade. I guess what I'm curious about is, cause what they were asking me is why would they need a building permit if they're not doing electrical, no concrete, none of the other stuff?
Is it changing the,
It's just like a fence?
I was gonna say, if it's gonna change the way the water's gonna run off, and it would, because it's gonna shade over the top.
Okay.
It just hasn't been turned in yet. She brought it in today, but the people that are doing the work, we told them that they need to have a certificate of liability filed with us before we can do anything.
Okay. And then what if they don't have that?
Then they probably need to find a different contractor, because again, we require contractors to have liability insurance.
Wonder how what they did in Red City, I mean, they'll do some digging from that. I guess I didn't realize that just putting a shade up was considered a building project. That's what I'm trying to clarify.
Well, it does technically fall under the school.
Under
Does technically fall under the school.
the school.
The preschool is part of the school,
Okay.
so it would fall under their umbrella too,
The school has to get building permit.
probably, unless they're on the employee.
Right, I mean, now, if they're doing self, if they put self down.
Well, I think the whole gist behind all this is that they did try to do it themselves the first time it didn't take, it didn't hold. So now they're trying to hire the people that did the ones in Red Bird City,
And maybe Bird City has different rules for their building permits here. We've always required contractors to have liability insurance, and they do bring certificate to us, so.
that's why I wanted to clarify is whether or not this actually needed a building permit, but that answers my
Just for
question.
clarification, is this the one behind the grocery store?
Yes.
Well, that's all funded by the foundation, so we better make sure it has every T crossed and I dotted.
Well, they've evidently may have already started the project.
Really?
I'm not sure.
Well, nonetheless, today, and I'm doing what I've been doing for a lot of years, they put a name down, and my understanding was is they're retired contractors. They were just using them because they worked in Bird City, but Bird City may have a different
Yeah.
set of
That's what I was
in their
told, too.
code, and
That's what I was
so
told.
that's why I said, as soon as we have that certificate of liability, we will take your money, and then we will start the process.
But would that be any different with the foundation?
It's still a project. It's still a project.
So if I just say
Technically,
cause
you're
is a
looking at it as
foundation,
building
we gotta make
permit.
sure it's done.
It is, yes,
Okay.
it absolutely is, because they're gonna put something up over the playground which could affect the flow of water.
Okay. That answered that question. And that's all I have.
Article in the newspaper. Do we want to have some sort of correction published as far as the article stating that since the work was done on the access road, the city will now take over ownership and maintenance of it?
Not that work.
I think we should do.
You mean put something in there that says that, hey, this isn't what we voted on? Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
it's
misleading
from a liability standpoint, we need to put something, first of all, we need to put something in there, because then anytime there's a problem, people are going to be back in here stating, well, the paper said it's the city's problem now. And second of all, the whole time this has been going on, the city's position has been, we don't own the road, it is not a city liability, it is not a city problem. And being silent when the official publication of the city says, hey, this is now the city's problem, is just not a position we want to put ourselves in. So we need to have a correction.
I'll
So
get
did
something.
did I miss something about this? Was there an article in the paper that?
It said the work was done and now the city's taking ownership of the road.
That's what the paper printed.
Yep.
Okay, somebody had mentioned that, I just hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
No.
I haven't
Okay.
seen it either. I don't read the papers.
I'll get
What-
something.
So if someone brings that up, the response should be, that was a misprint. The
Yes.
city is not taking ownership.
Well, I've actually told two people that.
And we want to have that corrected in print.
Yeah. So I'll get something.
Yeah.
Get to you.
Yeah.
It's
Let's
better than
see.
it was, but that is the sloppiest job of road work I think I've ever seen.
Well, in 2 or 3 big rains, it won't be there anymore, so.
You do executive session?
Yeah.
You wanna do that?
On my alley.
I'm worried it's gonna be down here. It's
We
gonna
can
be
do it
down
after
here.
the
Area.
We just have do you guys wanna review the bills on ordinance 1113? Jamie, did you give me the sheet to sign?
No, I've got it.
Thank you, cause I'm like, I have to dig through the paperwork.
No, because they always end up losing them.
They get shuffled in my paperwork, so I'm like, ugh. Anybody see anything on the bills? No, I'm for a motion to approve. Moved by Randy. Second by Justin, all in favor. You need one. I hear a motion to go into executive session for 15, is that?
Safe travels, bud.
I'm not available in 10.
10 minutes for application review. You wanna sign in?
So moved.
Moved by Larry, second by Randy, to resume at 9:35. Okay. by Randy, second by David, all in favor? Anything else? Motion to adjourn.